picture of you holding and smiling. Okay, I'm gonna put it.
The bell will ring once again when there are 30 seconds left. The bell will ring twice when the time is up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can show you. For as our second speaker has already put forward, there is a proposal being put forward by Simon and M. Young, which our opponents have cited, which goes like this. If the geographical constituencies were to be elected by direct elections, and then they were to elect the functional constituency members, then we would be able to represent all sectors of the population as well as all sectors of the economy. How would this work? Well, initially, we would have direct elections, so the people would be represented. And those people who represent the populace at large would then be able to select the functional constituencies. They would carry on the will of their people within the Legislative Council. And thus we would be able to both keep the benefits of the functional constituencies, benefits such as professional insight, and which have thus far created a stable, prosperous economy. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we could also extend the functional constituencies so that they're so large that they do follow many sectors of the population. For example, within the civic exchange, there has been a proposal for large generic constituencies. All of these models serve to show one thing, that there are many other proposals which we have to consider before we take such a drastic step such as abolition. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like our opponents to show us that there is a certain problem within the economy, that there is widespread collusion between the functional constituency members and with the government itself. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, consistently, throughout this debate, our opponents have asserted one thing, that the functional constituencies stand for big business. However, ladies and gentlemen, they also represent sports, performing arts, agriculture and fisheries, as well as the social welfare services. Why then should we abolish all functional constituencies when they clearly, all of them, do not represent the interests of big business and are not corrupt? There is a contention within our opponents, and I would like to repeat this again, that the functional constituencies stand for big business. And we have shown you that they do not, that there are functional constituencies who are for social welfare and other departments. So I ask our opponents again, why should we abolish these functional constituencies? Ladies and gentlemen, because in the future, if we have consultative bodies coming forward and giving advice, there is always the chance that their advice will not be listened to. Indeed, at some point in the future, we may be making a mistake. We may not listen to these professionals, and thus it would be to the detriment of Hong Kong, as we would not follow the principles outlined in the Basic Law. In fact, our opponents seem to be saying, because other countries are following this proposal, we should do it. What we must realize is that our democracy must come indigenous to Hong Kong through the institutions we have. Now, I'd like to ask our opponents, if the people of Hong Kong have stated that functional constituencies should be retained, then could you please come with alternative proof showing that they do
stop. Time's up.
The will of the people shall be the basis for the authority of government. Ladies and gentlemen, we reject as false our opponents' contention that universal suffrage and functional constituencies are mutually exclusive. We reject their contention that the current system warrants abolition, and we reject their proposal on the grounds that it is a violation of the guiding principles of Hong Kong. Principles which they choose to follow, as they have stated, that functional constituencies are in breach of the Basic Law itself. But what our opponents must understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that their proposal, if passed, would be illegal, as argued by our opening speaker. Currently, to amend the electoral process, we must hit a few legal stipulations as put forward in the Basic Law. One of these, the approval of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, is not being hit. Thus, why should we implement a proposal when it is so against this legal stipulation? If we were to, we would challenge the legitimacy of this electoral system. We would challenge the legitimacy of the law. For we are saying, we do not care if this law, we do not care for the stipulations in this law. We will break it when we see fit. Now, our opponents have argued that they will do so when it is reasonably practicable. But ladies and gentlemen, therein lies a flaw in their model. What is their model? If we do not know what we are going to do exactly, then how can we foresee any of the possible problems which could occur from following such a proposal? If we do not know these problems, then how do we know what is good for Hong Kong? Why should we follow a proposal which is so vague and so fraught with risk? Follow a proposal which goes against the principles of a capitalist society and maintenance and representation of all sectors of the economy, which have had benefits, in direct contradiction to our opponent's contention that the functional constituencies represent big business. Now, I have shown you, ladies and gentlemen, through the free debate, that functional constituencies represent not only big business, but social welfare and a multitude of other sectors of the economy, not just big business. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I ask our opponents again, why should we abolish these constituents, all of them who have together contributed to the economic prosperity of Hong Kong? Let me remind you that in the Legislative Assembly, if a proposal is to be passed through, then it must have the agreement of the geographical constituencies and the functional constituencies. Therefore, any of the proposals which have benefited Hong Kong in the past few years have come through the approval of the functional constituency. They are doing their jobs, ladies and gentlemen. Now, our opponents have thus far failed to address the benefits of the functional constituency. They have stated that these benefits could occur through consultative bodies, through having these professionals present during legislative council debates. But ladies and gentlemen, I ask them, where is your guarantee that their interests will be represented in each and every case in the next 10, 20, 30 years? Will we have this representation continuously? Indeed, if we were to follow the reforms put forward by our second speaker, have geographical constituencies who elect the functional constituencies, then we would keep the benefits guaranteed and also have greater universal suffrage. Now, our opponents thus far have failed to address one question. If the people of Hong Kong identify themselves with their professional nature, more so than the geographical nature, then why should we not have functional constituencies represent? This motion must fall. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm starting first is age before beauty. I'd like to congratulate both teams. You did a marvelous job. Of course, as far as contents are concerned, you have the advantage because every time I dream of the evolution of functional constituencies. And therefore, in my heart, I must caution myself not to favor you guys, but I must make myself lean slightly to the left. Because to me, they don't have much contents, but they press very hard. And so I will tell you the result.
The best debater in today's debate is Prakash Sankar. All speakers may also come up for the photo taking.
Thank you very much. Great, challenging tournament which has tested our intellectual and debating ability to the limit. So thank you very much, and I hope you hold it again next year, because we'll be there.